Hello, universe. TGIS. So, this is a celebratory day for me. This is episode 50 of the Cardio Vlogs, formerly known as 15 Minutes. Episode 50. But that looks like 10. 50! I think I did that right. So, for anyone who has kept up with at least... Well, if you kept up with any of the episodes, then great. Great. And thank you. For those of you who've watched all of them, I'm going to give you an emotional 10-second Frencher. You like that, huh? That was just inappropriate and mildly disturbing probably for you. So, you're welcome. Good luck sleeping tonight! So yeah, 50 episodes. Some two-parters. Previously on the Cardio Vlogs. So I will have about 55 episodes in the playlist, or 55, I think it's 55 vids in the playlist, but a total of actual 50 daily vlogs, cardio vlogs, and it's pretty fun. I'm excited about it. 50 episodes, approaching 1/6 of a year, I guess it is. Yeah, so in 3 episodes it would be roughly about 1/6 of a year that I've been doing this, which is great. It's like 2 months, a little over 2 months. No, it's not. 6 divided in 165. It's not sure what the hell's wrong with me. It's more than that. Okay, so don't remember any of what I just said, because that's wrong. It's 1/7 or something of a year. Who cares? It's 50 episodes. Stop badgering me. But it's been great. Been very happy to do it. I always remember this at the end of the day when I get back from doing things, or I've just eaten something that was kind of heavy. I have to remind myself that, hey, that's what this is here for. You know, I can work it off, feel good about myself as I finish out my day, and I really like that. So I'm happy with it. So some things going on in the news. Number one, and I'm not going to remember where it's at now, but there was a man, so I shouldn't even talk about that, because I don't even know exactly where it was at. Let's talk about California, where they are thinking of going, or trying to consider doing, digital license plates. Think it's a good idea? I'm not sure if it makes a difference one way or another, because from one perspective, if you're going to do a digital license plate, one of the things they've talked about potentially doing with it is that California can use it for advertising to pull in money. No. Because if that's the case, you shouldn't have to pay for a license plate. It should pay for itself in advertising. And it shouldn't even be a matter of you get it for less. Because if you're going to use my license plate for advertising, you shouldn't have to pay for it. That's just ridiculous. You might be able to charge me for renewals, but there really shouldn't even be a reason to recharge for renewals if it's all digital. No. That's out of line. Not unless you're going to share the profits with me. If you're going to share the profits with me from the advertisers, Sure, we can put some advertisements on my license plate. Of course, you're going to have the mistake of, if the cops stop me because of advertising, I'm going to say, well, hey, the DMV has an advertising program. If you can't read my license plate, blame them, not me. And that's the other thing. Or one other element to it is, if they do go forward and try and do some kind of an advertising method with it, then what happens if you get pulled over because there's advertising, or in the event of an accident that people can't read your license plate? It may be good for you if you're trying to flee the scene, but in a situation where you could be a relevant witness to something, it's not good. Now, some of the things that people are saying is that it could violate privacy because you'd have people's information on file for this digital license plate. And potentially, I'm guessing they're talking about also you're being able to be tracked. You know, sort of more like GPS. Well, I hate to break it to anyone who's thinking that a digital license plate is going to be the induction of GPS, because that already exists in a lot of cars, number one. And number two, if it does not exist in a car you currently have because of age, it's probably in your license plate already. So it's not like you're untrackable in some way. And if someone wants to steal your car and use it for a crime, I'm sure they can probably already find you. They really want to. Unless you haven't reported it stolen, in which case they've got a chance to get away. So I wouldn't really be worried about if your privacy has been compromised or will be compromised, because I'm sure it already has been. It's not that's the best good news I can give you in this situation. Digital license plates in a way could save time, but once again, I would not allow it to happen if the state is going to make money off of using something I paid for. So they're going to be basically double dipping, charging you to have a license plate, a digital license plate, and then making money off of something you've already paid for. No. You need to, because it's going to be thousands of dollars. I would make them share that with you. I would say, you're going to give me a commission off of it, or you're not going to do it. Damn Skippy. I would rather just use a metal plate until the government, of course, forcibly makes you to do it, which inevitably they probably will. But I'm not going to assist them any more than I have to. As a matter of fact, if I could stop it, I would, unless they gave me a commission. I just don't believe in paying for something if they're going to use something I'm paying for to help make them more money. No. That's called free enterprise. That's when the state becomes a business. And the state is not a business. So there's that. And the other thing, a couple of other things. Number one, today is supposed to have been the 30-year anniversary of the release of Madonna's first album. So she's 54 now. She's been doing this for 30 years. That is pretty impressive. I don't necessarily know I can tell you that I can even name a dozen songs of Madonna's that I actually enjoy. I mean, there's some that are, recognizable, like A Virgin. It's pretty much the end of it. I don't even know two. I'm sure I would if I listened to them, but I just don't listen to Madonna a lot. It's a pretty big feat that she's accomplished as much as she has. And she's a sexual person. She does a lot of sexual, or she has in the past at least, sort of sexual innuendo, I suppose is the best word. But I don't think she's done that as much lately, can't say that for sure because, once again, I don't follow her music. Here's something that's a little bit annoying to me in the media, though. Kelly Clarkson, I think it's Kelly Clarkson, who's supposedly about to get married to someone, came out and was talking about Henry Cavill, the guy who's playing Superman now, how he was her free pass because God just made him so unbelievably gorgeous. You know what, Kelly? It's great that you have no concept of the man's character and what he's really like, but you want to have sex with him. Number one, keep it to yourself. Because, number two, and most importantly, you're setting a really bad example for young women to judge men by looks, not knowing a damn thing about what they're personally like. That is horrible role modeling. Horrible. If you don't have a switch in your brain that controls you blurting out stupid stuff like that, then I would avoid a microphone. Sincerely. You're a free pass. What kind of an example are you setting to young women who who listen to your music? Come on. Have more class than that. That's part of the problem with our society, is that people judge each other by image rather than by quality of character. Come on. Come on. You got more logic than, you got more sense than that. And if you don't have more sense than that, then I really feel for you. Use better judgment. Like Miley Cyrus did that song. I sort of mentioned it yesterday, the day before yesterday, talking about mentioning acid in a song and coming out and talking about how she was actually talking about acid in a song. Come on. You're a role model to teenagers and very young adults, and you're promoting that kind of garbage. It's the kind of stuff that gets us more issues with drugs, because people want to be like celebrities because they're so cool. No, they're not. Not when they're irresponsible like that. They're not. Absolutely not examples. People will talk about shooting people, doing drugs, abusing women. Come on. Those people aren't people I'd want. I would want my kids to role model themselves after. I would find someone real. Because movie stars and musicians and all that, they're only relevant to a certain crowd for a certain period of time. Come on. Get it together. You have a responsibility being in the mainstream media spotlight. That irritates me quite a bit. I'm not trying to be a dad here. I'm trying to be someone who's just responsible and realizing that if I put myself on this camera or in any kind of a way exposure to people, I have a responsibility to use good judgment when I share information. Not to just sort of say, oh, you know, I think that Neve Campbell is so hot, and she's my free pass. Come on. I don't know anything about Neve Campbell. She could be the most uptight, angry person in the world, or look down on other people. I'm not going to make her up. Could meet her in person and think she's just a utter, you know, you're creating this image of people and judging the quality of their character based on their looks, saying that makes them worthy. Doesn't make them worthy. Come on. You just have a responsibility in media when you get out there to do your best to present logic to people, and especially if you're talking about children and teenagers who are still trying to define what's important. People like Miley Cyrus and Kelly Clarkson, and I'll talk specifically about Miley Cyrus at the moment. She's been out and been a big headline for some time. And she is that young teenager or young adult now. And she impacts 13 and 14-year-old girls. Look at Taylor Swift. She may be doing things with boyfriends and such, singing about her boyfriends and trying to do older material now. But to the best of my ability, or my knowledge, she's not out there talking about how she wants to go do Justin Bieber. My God, with the way he portrays himself in the press and the way he behaves himself, just in the way he tweets and such, I wouldn't. Man, if that kid came to my door and I had a daughter, he'd be lucky if he walked away with his balls. He really would, because he has he has no respect for pretty much anybody. He's mistreated even his fans by leaving them waiting at concerts before. He's misbehaved in the public and said, I just gotta be me. Well, why don't you go be you behind doors and stop leaving wrong impressions on young children who need positive role models? You're not contributing to the positive evolution of society. Now, it's sort of a double negative, because evolution suggests growth. But the point is, you're not contributing to the evolution of society with your behavior. If you want to get trash talked in the media and have them say garbage about you that's not true, don't support it by the way you respond on other social media sites where you know people are following you. Go out, do videos. Don't worry if you're getting paid for it or not. Get on a camera and say, listen, a lot of stuff is said about me, it's not true. You need to look inside of someone and appreciate people for who they truly are. You need to not mistreat people. That's a responsibility that you have if you want to be in front of that camera and you want to be a mainstream role model. Now, if you don't want that and you just want to be a musician, then here's how you do that. You say, I'm not doing interviews, I'm not doing any of that. I just want to do music. That's all I want to do. I don't want to be a star, I just want to be a musician. I don't want to do interviews, I don't want to do magazines. I'm just going to play music. And if that means I don't get paid enough to do that, then I'll get a job and I'll do it by night. Now, why don't they do that? Because then they're not making millions. But if you're going to accept the money you make from being in the media, then you also have a responsibility when you are in that limelight to be a positive role model for the children of tomorrow. Because, and this is a big word, so I hope you're paying attention, impressionable. You have a responsibility. It's just like what the WWE used to do. I don't know if they do it right now because I haven't watched them lately, but they used to come out and say, intentionally, on their programming, after all these problems that happened back in the day, used to come out and say, we are trained professionals. Please don't try this at home. See, that was a responsibility that they took to know. They needed to tell people, especially children, which is their target audience, that we're trained in this. You don't know how we land, how we pull these stunts off, so don't do them at home. It's camera tricks. Well, they didn't say camera tricks, so maybe that would have been more beneficial. But they pointed out that they were trained, and that this is not a game. When you're in the limelight, as a musician, an actor, you have a responsibility when you get in front of that camera to be a positive role model and contribute to the evolution of society, which means children and adults alike that admire you, or even that are fanatic about you, follow your behavior patterns, and you suggest treat people with respect, don't talk nasty to people, don't use bad language because it doesn't make you look smart, don't abuse drugs. So you can't go and abuse drugs and then tell people not to abuse drugs. Be a role model. The only one who's getting to you pressure-wise is not the studios and the companies that are producing your albums, because you could just as easily drop out. You really could. And you know you could. You choose the money, and when you choose the money, you must take the responsibility for what comes along with that money, which includes mainstream exposure and the fact that you're going to be a role model whether you like it or not, in some kind of capacity. So anyways, I'm done for today. I just really I think this is an important topic that people really need to address when it comes to celebrities, entertainment, politicians, because politicians are entertainment now. They are. It's exactly what it is, otherwise they do it on the radio. It's just the way it is. Alright, excuse me. Happy 50th episode. I really, truly appreciate all of those who watch once, twice, or 50 times. I'm just hoping that you're participating in some kind of capacity. Taking a walk, on your bike, on your elliptical, on your treadmill. Contribute to your own future and your own health. And then feel free to tell me below why you think I'm wrong. Take care of yourselves and live with passion. See you on episode 51.